All right, let's just jump right in. We all have this tendency, right? It's like a human superpower. We are experts at spotting the flaws in absolutely everyone else. We hear a tone of voice we don't like, we see a decision we disagree with, and bam, the judgment kicks in. But what if there's a totally different way to see the world and each other? This entire explainer is really built around this one singular, unforgettable image from the source text. I mean, just picture it for a second. Someone with a giant 2x4 sticking out of their own eye, trying to perform delicate surgery on someone else's tiny little splinter. It's kind of comical, but the source argues this isn't just a clever saying. It's a diagnosis of something we all deal with. And look, this isn't about being a bad person. Not at all. It's presented as a universal problem with how we perceive things. It's a blind spot, one that gets in the way of real connection and stops us from building the kind of supportive, understanding communities that I think we're all hungry for. So, how does this sight problem actually cause damage? Well, this first section gets into a really provocative idea. How even something good, like the truth, can be turned into a weapon if we're not careful. This right here is the core idea: correction without connection. See, it's not that calling something out is always wrong. It's about the spirit behind it. It's about why you're doing it. When we point out a flaw not to help, but to make ourselves feel bigger or to put someone else down, well, that's when we've weaponized the truth. The source uses this really important theological term, imago Dei. It's the idea that every single person has inherent worth because they're made in the image of God. When our judgment takes over, it's like we put on a pair of glasses that completely blocks out this fundamental truth. We literally stop seeing a person, and instead we just see a problem or a label or an enemy. And you know, this doesn't always look like a big, dramatic confrontation. The source points out how it shows up in these small, subtle, everyday ways. It can be as simple as avoiding the new person at work because they don't really fit in, or feeling that secret little bit of satisfaction when you hear about someone else messing up. It's sneaky. Okay, so we've seen how this sight problem can be harmful. The next logical question is, how do we start to fix our own vision? This next part breaks down 4 of the most common logs, or blind spots, that the source says we need to look out for. So the first log is cultural superiority. This is that deep down belief that my way of doing things, my culture, my traditions, my opinions is just better. And the source really doesn't pull any punches here. It calls racism the oldest, most destructive version of this log, the absolute refusal to see another person as an equal. Next up is something straight out of psychology, projection. You know how this works. We use other people as a giant movie screen for our own issues. The things we are most insecure about in ourselves are often the very first things we jump on and criticize in other people. It's a way of deflecting, so we don't have to look in the mirror. And then there's the classic double standard. This one might hit a little close to home. The source basically says, when I mess up, it's because I'm stressed, I'm tired, I had a bad day. But when you make the exact same mistake, oh, it's because there's something wrong with your character. We demand justice for them, but we want a whole universe of grace for ourselves. And this last one, wow, this one is deep. Lingering bitterness. When we're holding on to old pain that we haven't dealt with, it acts like a filter on everything we see. We're not actually reacting to the person standing in front of us. We're reacting to the ghost of someone who hurt us in the past. We aren't seeing them. We're just seeing our own scar. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We've identified some of these huge logs that might be blocking our view. So what do we do about it? Well, the source says the cure starts with one single powerful ingredient: humility. This parable from the source just lays it out so perfectly. You got 2 people. The Pharisee's focus is outward. He's looking at everyone else, comparing himself, feeling superior. But the tax collector, his focus is inward. He's not looking at anybody else in the room. He's just looking at his own heart and asking for mercy. And the story makes it clear which one of them actually finds what they're looking for. So to help us get a little bit more of that tax collector perspective, the source gives us this really practical tool. It's a quick vision test we can use for some honest self-examination. Let's just walk through it together. All right, first question, and you got to be really honest with yourself on this one. When you hear a piece of gossip or you see someone fail, is there a tiny part of you that feels a little bit good, a secret little thrill of pleasure? Okay, question number 2. How quick are you to jump to conclusions?
Do you decide who a person is based on what they look like or where they're from or what you've heard about them before you've even given them a chance to tell their own story?
And the third question brings us right back to that pesky double standard. Do you hold other people to a standard of behavior that you constantly make excuses for not meeting yourself? So after that moment of self-reflection, we get to the final part, which is really the whole point, turning all this self-awareness into a brand new way of seeing and treating other people. Now, the source lays out a very specific order of operations here, and the sequence is everything. Notice what comes first. You have to deal with your own log first. It's only after you've done that hard work that you can actually see clearly. And when you can see clearly, something amazing happens. Your desire to correct someone is transformed into real compassion, and truth stops being a weapon and becomes a tool for healing. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. The goal isn't to just throw our hands up and stop caring about what's right and wrong. Not at all. The goal is to completely change how we help each other. It's about approaching one another with hands that are gentle because they remember their own brokenness, and they remember what it felt like to be forgiven. So, we'll end with the same provocative question the source leaves us with. When people look at our community, whether that's our family, our workplace, our circle of friends, what do they see? Do they see a courtroom where everyone's on trial and being judged? Or do they see a hospital, a place where broken people can come to find understanding, help, and healing? That's a question worth thinking about.